Hi, I'm Julia. Welcome to Dandelion Dreams podcast. If you've never watched this before, my husband and I live in a rural part of Oregon, and we are sheep raisers. Currently, we still have a small flock, and we're planning to grow over the next few years. I also love to knit. I'm a pretty avid knitter. So this is a knitting podcast where I share a bit about sheep. Yeah, if you're returning, I have lots of updates on my projects that I've been working on, and yeah, I'll just jump right into the knitting today. I guess I could share a little bit about farming. Today we trimmed feet. We set up our new tilt, well, it's not really new, our tilt table that we bought and have yet to really utilize, and that was amazing and exciting. It was like, hallelujah. It's so much easier to trim feet when you can it squeezes them and then it tilts them over on their side so that you have access to their feet without having to actually manually hold them while trimming. So it's great because the sheep weigh about as much as me. So yeah, that was good. Their feet have been just wretched because we live in a really super wet climate. So, and it's muddy, and someday I hope to have the sheep pastured somewhere where there isn't a barn that they can get into, just because they tend to congregate, create mud and muck, and that really messes with their feet. It'd be better if they didn't really have somewhere to hang out all the time, because then they would just spread around and hopefully stay on the grass and keep their feet healthier. But anyway, so we did that today. We wanted to also tag everyone's ears and the lambs, and do the CDT shots, but it was extremely wet, and it's really best not to vaccinate when it's wet because you have a tendency for the needle to carry in moisture and bacteria, which causes abscesses. So we gotta wait till next week to do the vaccination. And we could not find our tagging device tool anywhere. We have a Pyrenees who is quite useless. She's supposed to be guarding the flock, and she doesn't really do much of anything, and she buries tools constantly in the barn. It's very frustrating. So I'm assuming that's what happened, because there's just no sign of them anywhere. So next week, I guess we'll be tagging everyone and hopefully be able to figure out who belongs to what mom so we can keep better records. So that's what we've been up to today. So I'm podcasting super late today. I normally try to do it like mid-afternoon while Daisy is sleeping, but it is like approaching bedtime for the girls. It's like, well, 6:30, and normally they go to bed around 7:30. Oh, this is a life thing, not a knitting thing, but we switched. Oh, I feel like my camera's tilting. I'm sorry. Felicity has her own kind of bedroom. It's just a teeny tiny room in this small little brick house that we live in, and she has been in there by herself with a crib, and there's bookshelves and things like that in there, and dresser and things. So it's really crowded, not a lot of room for her to play. So it's basically just a sleeping room, and it works really well for that. It's very warm. The windows are blacked out. Everything is just like, it's like a sleeping cocoon. But we didn't have anywhere for Daisy aside from in bed with us, and that's been becoming problematic. It's like she used to sleep. We would get in bed and hang out and watch a show together, and she would go to sleep and I could lay her to the side, and I could go to sleep without her nursing and all that good stuff. But she got to the point now where she wouldn't sleep while we were up and about, and she wanted to be nursing the whole time. So like nursing all evening, and then when we finally laid down to go to bed, she would wake up and then want to nurse some more. So yeah, that was a bummer, if you know what I mean. So we were putting her in like a little bassinet, but she'd still just wake up when she hears us come in. So we finally got all of the other, like the bookshelves, cleaned everything out of Felicity's room, so it's just one dresser and the bed, because it's a teeny tiny room. And now there's room for Daisy's bassinet in there, and we put her in there last night, and Felicity was all excited. We put like a curtain across the room so I don't disturb Felicity when I wake up to help Daisy or nurse her, and they're in their own room. I'm so excited. that was like one of the most terrifying things about having two kids is how the heck do you transition them into the same bedroom? That's a scary idea, but it worked last night. She did wake up eventually in the middle of the night. I almost have no memory of going in and bringing her back to our bed, which is a little scary, but apparently I did okay and didn't drop her because she was in our bed this morning and was fine. But I mean, she normally sleeps in our bed, so it wasn't like any scary thing. Don't freak out. And I do vaguely remember going in and getting her, but yeah, she slept really well, and it seems like she slept for quite a bit of the night on her own, so that was exciting. So I'm pretty stoked. She's almost 6 months, and so we're doing good. I'm happy about that. So anyways, sorry, life stuff. Yeah, I don't know about you, but personally, I really like podcasts where I can hear about the person's life because podcasts are like friends. So, yeah, I consider you my friend, even if I don't know you at all. Alrighty, I will start talking about knitting now. We have one finished object today, and by we, I mean me and my cat, I guess, because I'm only one person. My sheep shuffle mitts. They are done. Hallelujah. These are a pattern by Sophie McCain of Unicorn Designs. And, oh, my ring is snagging on this really bad. Oh, I don't know, you probably can't hear it, but our sheep are out grazing the lawns and things, and so they're very loud, and that might be distracting, so I apologize. But, sheep shuffle mitts. If you watched the previous episode, you know that I messed these up about 1.5 million times and had to frog them several times, and they're finally done, and they're beautiful. And I wasn't sure that I would ever wear them because working outside tends to be dirty, and our children tend to be sticky because they're little kids. And so I didn't really know when I'd have an opportunity to wear them, but I actually have worn them a couple of times, mostly when I am knitting outside because my hands have to be clean anyways. So like if Felicity's playing and I'm just following her around knitting, or if we go on a walk and I have someone else to push the stroller, then I will wear these and knit. And they're beautiful. I'm very happy with them. The only thing I would change is this one yellow kind of matches the background color a little too well. I mean, it blends in and you can't see that row of sheep very well. And that's a little disappointing, but that's not the fault of the rainbow dyer. You couldn't really fix that other than changing the background color to be a little bit of a lighter yarn would have been good, but I'm very happy with them. They were kind of a pain, but that is because I am not very experienced at color work, and that is all. So yeah, they were very fun and very pretty, and I think they would have been more fun if I wasn't trying to like hurry to get them done, because I kept messing up because I was hurrying because it was a knit along and I had not gotten them started on time. So anywho, ta-da! Okay, sorry. The other things, I guess that's my only finished object. Everything else, I have lots of things on the needles and nothing is getting done yet. So the other thing that I was working on last time and I forgot to bring with me, and it's in this adorable project bag by Freckled Whimsy, and I don't even know if that company is a thing anymore because this was a gift. It's a really cute bag. I love it. So anyways, this is my car knitting, so anytime I stop somewhere I have something to do, and it is a tube. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be too small. I tried casting on 60 stitches because all the socks I've been knitting recently I keep turning out kind of big and loose. I wanted something with a lot more negative ease, and so I'm knitting them in 2.25 millimeter ChiaoGoo red lace 9-inch circulars, which are just like the most portable, fabulous thing. I really enjoy them. And it has a cute progress keeper that also came with the project bags that I was gifted by Jessica Ruth Knits. Or no, yes, that is where this comes from. Yes. I just want to make sure I don't get confused, because I was also gifted some other project bags with Progress Keepers by someone else, so I will talk about that in a minute. And yeah, so this is just my sock knitting. I am still experimenting with what, you know, styles and methods I like. So far, it seems like my favorite thing to do is to knit a tube and add afterthought heels, toes, and cuffs, because, I mean, yeah, anyways, only the heels are afterthought. But add that all at the end, and you do a provisional cast on, so that you have these raw live stitches here that you can just pick up when you get done. Which I'm thinking about maybe starting it as like a toe up tube, and then doing like a toe at each end, and then cutting it in half and adding cuffs, and then but anyways, that doesn't matter. The point being, I can knit mindlessly, just without end, not having to stop and think about heels and things, especially when I'm in town or visiting or whatever I'm doing. If I have to do a heel, I just can't think and talk to people or whatever, and do that at the same time. So, I mean, that's the thing too. Other methods like the German short row or heel flap and gusset or whatever, I have to think more than the afterthought heel. For me, once I've picked up those stitches for the afterthought heel, it doesn't take a lot of thinking. It's just around and around and around and decreasing every other round. So that's pretty easy, and it doesn't take a lot of counting or thinking. So I really like that method anyways. But yeah, I just like the fact that I can have this thing to do, and then when it's done, I can just take an afternoon when I'm actually at home to do all the details. So that's that. Yeah, I've made pretty good progress on it, actually, considering I think I had maybe that much done. No, that much done last time. I don't know. But that is not really getting worked on much, because I'm not really going places or doing things that often. And also, my main work in progress right now has a lot of stock in it, so I don't really need a mindless knit right now. The next thing, sorry, I'm talking awfully fast, and I'm drinking coffee. Actually, this coffee is by Brandless, which is ironic because it is a brand name. It even says, you know, TM, trademark afterwards. But Brandless is, at least here in the States, I don't know if it's global, a company that sells organic food and toiletries and other things. And it's like, I think everything on their website is $3. So if it's a very expensive item, you get a really small quantity, which is kind of silly to me. I'd rather have it be, instead of having it like everything's $3, because I think it's like a mental thing and it makes it simple for people to understand, I would rather have it's, you know, just good prices and it, you know, bigger sized packages, because I prefer to buy bulk. But anyways, you actually get a decent quantity for $3. Yeah, so, and then the things that are like really cheap, things like pasta noodles and chips and things like that, where you should be getting quite a lot, you get multiple packages for $3. So that's neat. I tried that out. Daisy was teething and kept me up all night a couple weeks ago, and I, like, in a stupor, was like just looking at my phone trying to stay awake so I could walk her around the house, and I ended up ordering a bunch of groceries off of there in the middle of the night. And then the next day I was like, that was kind of a weird impulse buy, but in the end I was really glad that I did, because I was very happy with my purchase and everything's pretty cool. So the coffee is from there, and apparently has a lot of caffeine in it, but it's tasty, and I mean, it's more expensive than the coffee I normally buy, but it's organic and all that jazz. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if I'll buy from them again, but so far I'm liking it and it's tasty. But everything else they have, I've been a big fan of. I'm so red in the face. I might be a little warm. Yeah, so coffee. The next thing I have that I am working on is this. I actually put a little bit more work into my Stormy Skies shawl by Life is Cozy, and it's the wrong side, I guess. I don't really know if they look that much different, but yeah, it's a little lumpy and such, but it's coming along. It's finally getting some size on it. I still have quite a lot of yarn left, so and I have another skein of that yarn if I decide to make it larger, so, which I don't know that I'll need it. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out when it's finally done and how it wears, but I'm not actually working on it currently because I have too many other things going on. And I'm thinking, I'm not in love with the stripiness of it, but I will just have to see what it looks like wearing it, because holding it up like this versus wearing it is completely different. If it looks weird, I'm thinking about over dyeing it with something. I don't really know what yet. I've never dyed, so I don't have a lot of ideas with color theory and all that. So I don't know, maybe something that's already in it and just kind of masking the stripes, or maybe something different. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So that's an idea, but we'll see if that ends up needing to happen. It would be nice if it just looks good and I don't have to mess with it. But so that's that, and that is living in this a homespun house project bag, which is really like kind of squishy and nice. I don't know what it is about this bag that is just like comforting and soft on the top, and then it's very like firm and stands up well on the bottom. And once again, I don't know if that company is a thing anymore, so yeah, maybe I should probably check Etsy for these so I know whether or not I should be mentioning the names. But also, I think I'm talking really fast because Nicholas is in with the girls and Daisy's not sleeping, which makes me nervous that she's gonna have melt down, so I apologize for my fast talking. Next up, ooh, this is the project that I'm enjoying the most right now, and I'm putting it on the back burner to do a test knit, which is a little sad because it has been going really well and I'm very pleased with it. But such is life. I feel like if I commit to doing a test knit for someone, I really need to make that a priority, even though I'm really nervous I'm not going to make it in time. But this is my Estonian shawl, and it's getting kind of a little too big to show off very well on the needles here, but I have super loved working on this project. It's just been a really, really, really enjoyable lace project. And here we have these nups, which is a detail that I've never done before, or technique. And whenever I hit a nup in the pattern, my brain says, nup, really loud, which I don't know why. But anyways, it, yeah, I didn't know that I liked the texture of it at first, but now that it's come together into like a complete shape, I really like the way they look. I cannot wait to block it, because I think once you stretch it out fully, it's just going to look beautiful. But yeah, I am I think a little more than halfway done, but I'm not really sure how that works because, as you know, shawls get bigger as you go on. So anyway, I have like counting challenges. I don't know, I have brain problems, as you know if you've watched this. Not literally, I'm not like diagnosed with anything. I just am very forgetful and airheaded. So I'm quite pleased with how little what is the word? Mistakes. How little mistakes are in this shawl so far. I'm knock on wood, because I'm like, I don't really think there are any mistakes now at this point. I have gone back and corrected quite a few, but yeah, sometimes you get to the point where you've made a mistake and you're just like, well, that's too far back. I'm not fixing that. I don't think I have any of those in here, so we'll see. But I've been very like religious about my pattern repeats. I have markers and I am counting every time and being very, very, very careful. So we'll see if usually it's towards the end that I start making mistakes because I'm like really anxious to get done. But now that I'm having to take a break from it, maybe my brain will be fresh when I start up on it again, and I won't lose my patience with it, and I will complete it without mistakes. That would be something, wouldn't it? So anyways, I can't stop showing it off because I just think it's beautiful, and I'm really, really pleased with this pattern. I have been printing out patterns actually, which is good for me. A lot of times I just look at my phone, which is really dumb. It's by Suzanne Fritz. There's a lot of consonants in there, so I'm not exactly sure if I said that right. And this is a really great pattern. I just like love it. I've really enjoyed it because I'm a guess, a visual person, because I really enjoy working off of a chart. Doing lace work off of a chart is really, really fun for me. And I've just been, as I go along, I've been using a crayon, which I keep in my project bag to color in. And I do it every other row. So once I finish the wrong side row, I'll cross off 2 rows with my little crayon. So that is that. This is how much yarn I have left. This yarn is dyed by Terry Dow. I won this yarn and this project bag in a giveaway on Instagram, which was super awesome. And yeah, they're just like, it's shaping up to be such a fun little thing. And this is for Felicity, my 3-year-old, because she specifically asked when I got this pink yarn, because I don't really wear pink very often. She saw this yarn and she was just like, oh, Mommy, can you make me a shawl? And so I have to make her a shawl. So far, she will not let me try it on her. So it might end up being my shawl after all if she'll never wear it. But by the time she gets to be a kid, like a teenager, I'm sure she'll hopefully love it. Maybe cherish it. I don't know. Too high of hopes probably. But so that is that. Lastly, I am working on I guess it's not my first sweater, but it's my first adult size sweater. So that's significant, I guess. I feel a little funny having a podcast and, you know, never having made a sweater before, but such is life. So yeah, this is all I have of it so far. And it has a textured panel in the front here. I don't know if you can see that. So it's supposed to look like that, and it'll look better once there's more of it established. And then the ribbing is a unique pattern as well. It's not a standard oh, I can't see. Is it focusing? Nope. It's not your standard typical ribbing. It's like a twisted rib mixed with some slip stitches. So it's different and textured and pretty. It was, I have to be honest, a little frustrating to do just because I didn't have the right size needles initially, so I couldn't start on the start date, and there's less than a month for the test knit. And so I didn't have the right size needles, so I was 2 or 3 days late starting, which was making me really anxious. And then when I did finally start, we've just, you know, I have little kids, so I don't have a ton of time to put into it. And the needle size for the edge or the bottom is like 2 millimeters, so that's very small, and I kept splitting my yarn a lot and having to fix things. And so I just, yeah, it was just like, I am so done with ribbing by the end of it, because mostly because it's a test knit and I'm feeling anxious to like get some progress made, because yeah, I would really hate to run out of time. And it has a little gap, and the back is a little bit longer than the front to cover your bum. And finally to the portion with lots of stockinette, and then finally to the larger needle size. Oh, so the reason I didn't have the correct needle size originally was because I had bought my ChiaoGoo interchangeable set, and I was just, I don't know, not really thinking about it, and I just assumed that I had 2 millimeter in there, but I didn't. So I ordered them on Amazon, and I got the rush shipping so that I would have it the next day. By then it was already, I think, a day, yeah, it was like the day that I was supposed to start the test knit. So I finally got the needles and did the ribbing. Well, today I got to the next set of needle size and realized that I didn't have the right set again, because I have the ChiaoGoo set of interchangeables. I had assumed that I would have 3 millimeters in there, right? Like, that seems reasonable, but they go by US sizes. So instead of a 3 millimeter, I have a size 3 US, which is a 3.25 millimeter. And the other option is a size 2, which is a 2.75. So I either needed to go up 0.25 of a millimeter or down 0.25 of a millimeter, or order another set on Amazon and wait and lose another couple of days worth of knitting. So I don't know. I did a gauge swatch several, you know, like before I started originally, when I was waiting for my other set of needles, with this pair, thinking that I had the correct size. And I think it was good, And I ended up frogging it because I got impatient because I had already done a gauge swatch in the wrong needle size, and so I was just losing patience. But yeah, so I think it'll be okay. I think it's close enough, right? Like 1/4 of a millimeter is a small difference. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I didn't want to go 1/4 of a millimeter down and make, I don't know, maybe I should. I don't know. Opinions, give me your opinions. Quickly, quickly, I'm running out of time. I've only put in a few rows with it so far. But that would be a whole half size smaller than this because it's 2.75 and this is 3.25. But anyway, who knows? Hopefully it turns out good. I'm really enjoying the way that this yarn feels. The coloration is all right. It's really hard to tell what it's going to do in the body because this is knit back and forth, not in the round, so it pools a little differently than it's going to in the body. So I'm excited to see how that looks. But so far I'm fine with it. It looks fine. Looks good. I was afraid that it was going to do really strange things. So it's doing a little bit of strange things, but it shouldn't be too glaringly hideous. So yeah. Oh, I don't even think I mentioned what the name of the sweater is. It's called Komorebi or something like that. I'm sorry, Japan. I don't know how to pronounce that, but so far I have not run into any mistakes in the pattern. It's very well written, and it's by, I don't remember her last name. Where is it? Ksenia Nedion. I don't know how to pronounce her name either. But she has stated that she's not a native English speaker, but her patterns and everything she posts online are clear. She doesn't have any issues. In my book, I wouldn't have guessed that necessarily that she wasn't an English speaker because she's very good. So anyway, she is behind Life is Cozy, that is her website, and she also designed the Stormy Sky shawl. And yeah, so hopefully I get that done. I'm a little freaked out. I need to take a little hiatus from test knits because I like doing them in theory, but then when other life things happen and I don't have time to work on them, then I feel stressed out. And I'm like, you shouldn't feel stressed out about your knitting. That's silly. But such is life. Anyways, I like being involved, like getting involved and doing test knits and things like that. That's fun. But I might just have a little bit too much going on in my life to commit to that in the future, unless people have really, really long deadlines. So I don't know. We'll see. So I have this much left of the first ball. These are 150 gram skeins of Cascade Yarns Heritage 150 multis. I purchased 4 of these, and they were on sale. This was during the like Valentine's Day sale, or no, January sale, and they were, I think all together I paid like $35 for them all. So that was really cheap for a good quantity of yarn. And I think I'm going to have yarn left over, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying my ball winder. Yeah, it makes me very happy. I know a lot of people like to hand wind yarn, and I get that on a level because it does have like sentimental feelings of my childhood and stuff, because I learned to knit really young. But I get frustrated at this point in my life because it takes quite a while to hand wind a really long ball of yarn, or large ball of yarn, especially lower gauge, like fingering weight yarn. And I don't have a ton of time to knit. I mean, I have more than a lot of people, I'm sure, being a stay-at-home mom, but I get interrupted a lot, and so I want to actually knit with my knitting time instead of winding yarn. So I really appreciate my ball winder. That was an amazing gift from my mom. What else? I have a stash enhancement, and this is a lovely gift by the seamstress, I guess, the Cotton Stash. Her name is Treka Nichols. I'll show you her card. That way I don't have to edit it in. And these, she also sent some adorable progress keepers. There is a measuring tape and buttons. I need a measuring tape, like a real measuring tape. I should buy one. But anyways, there's 2 there. I think there's one more. Here it is. This one is a skein of yarn. So cute. I'm excited. I need to stick one of those on my sweater. So the first project bag, whew, my brain, is a really large one. I think my sweater will be graduating into this bag because the one it's in fits fine now, but as it grows, it's gonna need a bigger home. And it has a matching little bag for notions. So, that's where these guys have been living. And yeah, I think that will be perfect for my sweater once it gets a little bit bigger. And it is lovely and stout. And it has sheep on it. Yeah, I mean, you gotta know that I like sheep. Sheep are a winner in my book. The lighting is getting, as the sun's going down, it's getting more glaring from the indoor lights in here. And she also sent a lovely little small, I love bags about this size for socks and things. They're lovely for taking with you. And I like this handle is nice. It doesn't, I don't know, I kind of like ones that don't spin as much so that my yarn doesn't get twisted. So that is beautiful blue floral, and it has the lining and her tag there. And the lining of this one is yarn, which is appropriate, and it matches. And then this is a very large tote. This is, I think, going to be good for carrying multiple projects. And this is made really nice. It's got snaps across the whole top and bicycles, and it is very nice. So yay, thank you so much, Trika. That's beautiful, and I am gonna load them up with projects. In fact, I was using this to carry my extra sweater yarn because there is quite a lot of it. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all my knitting stuff. Oh, my skein's falling apart. I don't know what else I've been up to. Life's a blur, but getting taxes done, it's that time of year. Yeah, that's about it. The lamb and goat are still alive. The ones that I have been doctoring, I'm still bottle feeding them. In fact, I'm getting kind of close to the age where I could wean them. So that's cool because I am getting a little tired of bottle feeding, but it's really not bad. It's 3 times a day, and then today I started doing 2 times a day. So so that's cool. I don't know what else to tell you. Come here, kitty kitty. I brought Wash out with me to the house today for the podcast, and he has not made any appearances. He's been really low-key in comparison to how he normally is. Come here, buddy. Ooh, big kitty. Oh, say hello to the lovely people, buddy. He's like, no, leave me alone, Mom. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the kind comments and the views and the people commenting and subscribing. It's all really sweet, and I really appreciate it. And so don't forget to subscribe, and my you can find me on Instagram as Dandelion Dreams Podcast, on Ravelry as NW Hippie Mama. I really wish I could change that. I need to figure that out. But anyways, and on Facebook as Dandelion Dreams Knits, even though it doesn't seem like anyone uses Facebook at all. But yeah, if you want to find me other places, I post a lot on Instagram just of my works in progress and my little girls. Sometimes I try to post pictures of our sheep and what's going on here on the farm. Aha! That's what it was that I wanted to talk about. We have, oh yeah, so I have fleeces that I want to skirt and process and take to the mill to have some yarn. Most of it I'm probably just going to use, but I want to sell a little bit of it as well. I've had some people express interest in that, so it'll all be wool from our sheep raised here on our farm and hand skirted by me, but I have like my husband and I were just having a discussion about this today because I am so detail oriented. I really struggle to like be efficient and prioritize and get things done. And yeah, that's probably why I like knitting, I guess, because detail orientated is good in knitting. It's like, you know, good if you're an artist type person. But yeah, not so good when you like really need to get something done. Yeah, it's bad. So I have been sort of working on the fleeces. I've only gotten through a couple of them because I get so like, I don't know, detail oriented. I'm like picking at them way too carefully. I need to just like shake them out really good, get rid of the second cuts and any really yucky bits. But I also don't have a lot of experience working with a mill, so I don't really know how clean they want it. I don't know what they expect, so I'm struggling. Mostly I just am not even getting around to it because I know that I'm struggling to be efficient, and so I just give up before I start trying, which is pathetic. I mean, I have to do it outdoors also because I don't want to bring all those fleeces into my parents' home because that's the only place there's room to do it, and that would be unpopular. So I've been doing it outside. I took a short video I should post of me skirting fleeces in the yard, and so yeah, it has to be sunny also, which we don't get a lot of. So it has to be sunny, my kids have to be cooperating, and I have to try to not be so anal retentive. So those are 3 strikes against me. We'll see. Hopefully I get it done soon. I really, like, I'm anxious to get started on that. Oh, I completely forgot another thing. I didn't bring it out with me, but I received my eel wheel, which is a tiny electronic wheel for spinning fiber. And I immediately set it up and started trying it out, and it works awesome. It was Kickstarter, and they're currently sold out, and they probably will be for quite a while, but I think you can pre-order. And it was $65 for a small spinning wheel, very small electric spinning wheel, just tabletop. You use a rubber band to attach it to a book. That's how you weigh it down, because it's that small and lightweight and portable and cheaply made. And that's the idea, is that the guy who designed them made them to be accessible and affordable so that people can try their hand at spinning and not feel like this giant entry level like leap of I'm gonna put out hundreds of dollars just to try this hobby. And I think it's gonna be great for like homeschooling families or even just normal public schooling families. I was homeschooled. That's probably part of my problem. No. I think it's going to be great for families that want to teach their kids those skills, and yeah, it makes it a lot more affordable. It works super great. I've been really happy with it. I spun up a couple bobbins of roving top, or comb top that I bought, I think when I was like 14. I bought it when I was in 4-H still, at Oregon Flock and Fiber Festival. And I had used it on my drop spindle, but I just don't really care for the drop spindle. It's way too slow and tedious for me, which is funny coming from a knitter. But anyways, I'm really happy with that. I definitely recommend it. It's called the Eel Wheel Mini, and I will try and include a link in my description for you guys. I definitely recommend that if you're thinking about trying spinning. It'll be a long wait. I ordered mine months ago and finally got it, but it was worth it. I mean, I was gonna exist anyway, might as well wait. And yeah, they have a better model that is like $250, but that's pretty, I mean, it's very cheap for an electric wheel, but it's still, you know, a pretty big expense if you're just trying it as a hobby or like something to try that you're not really sure you're gonna love. So yeah, it works awesome. I'm pretty amazed at how well it works for how simple and cheap it is, and it's, yeah, fun. It was good times, but I actually had to pack it in its box and put it away because I couldn't stop spinning. I was so like addicted to it. I was like, I need to work on my knitting projects that need to get done, not my spinning, because that's just, I have the deadline associated with this. So Yep, I am really excited to see and compare today's work with 2 weeks from now, and hopefully I'll have like a bunch of a sweater done. That would be awesome. It needs to happen. So wish me luck, and thank you guys so much for watching and bearing with my crazy brain all this time, and I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day, and talk to you later. Bye!